look, I just I'm delving into this Ripley because the funny thing about Ripley is every time I sneeze, and well, like she was over there sleeping, like not moving, eyes shut, like looked to me like she was sleeping, but as soon as I sneezed, she got up and she came over to me and started putting her paw on me, or like if I do it when I'm laying down, I sneeze, she'd come up with her snout and put it in my face and all that kind of stuff, and like trying to make sure I'm still alive or something, I guess, because this is kind of instinctual in the line, in her line. The Ripley carries the traits and genetic makeup and stuff of her mother, Rogue, which is my daughter's dog, your mom's dog or your aunt's dog. Rogue is surprisingly mounted by my dog Charlie on a visit one day, and the end result of that was Ripley, Goldie, and Rosie. And Ripley, even though she don't look anything like the other two, Goldie and Rosie, well, the reason being is because she's got more of her mom's makeup. And let's say that American Staffordshire Terriers, historically in the past, they were bred to watch over babies and protect them from wolves, or foxes, or whatever might try to eat them. So I don't know what it is. They say when you sneeze, your heart skips a beat or stops for a second, and instinctually, she's the only one. She'll get right up, no matter. It doesn't matter. She can be sleeping. She hears the sneeze. She hears me sneeze, and she'll come inevitably. Not one time will she ever ignore that sound. And you got to remember, dogs see and hear differently than humans. Anyway, I started talking, about the globe and our world, and the cosmology and the constellations, and then the animals, how the animals speak to us, and so it's important to understand that we're all grounded in Mother Earth. They say, the Bible, for example, comes from a patriarchal society. So when they refer to God, naturally, they're going to refer to God as a male. Even Jesus, in the prayer that he taught his disciples to pray, we call it Our Father. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The Earth is mother. Well, these are ways that we just reflect on things and try to put them together. It's metaphorical, but in another sense, it's actually literal. Because we come from Earth. There's nobody that disagrees. Well, very few people think that we were come from somewhere way out in outer space and we're planted here on Earth. No, as though we're separate from Earth. No, we come from Earth. They say that you're made out of stardust. Well, Earth is a star. You know, it's a planet, just like all the other planets. Might have different atmosphere, different qualities than other um, planets and stars. You know, but we share our makeup, our flesh and our blood, you know, and our biology, and it comes from Earth. I mean, you know, they say we come out of the primordial swamp, somewhere around Africa, a long, long time ago. So they figured it out, and well, that's what you call impetus for what I'm talking about. It's always important to be grounded with Earth. That's why, and on a higher level, to love Earth. You know, it's like you love, you know, God and hallow the idea. Or I say idea because, of course, you know, by pure definition, God is incomprehensible. Because, you know, like there's a verse in the Bible. It says, you know, God speaking to one of the prophets, spokesperson for God, tells the prophet, might have been Isaiah or Elijah, I don't know. But my thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. As high as the heavens are above the earth, so are my thoughts above yours. Yeah, that puts us into perspective, so you understand. If I talk about God, you know, and if we refer to God as a father or a mother, well, it's metaphor. It's what we know and what we can kind of compare God to, but that's not God. A lot of the ones that go deeper, you know, talk about God as the energy, because everything is made of energy. Like your body, if you look at a microscope, which we can do now, you can look down into the cellular level of your skin and your flesh and your bones. Then we understand that there's space in between the well, we go to cells and then molecules of cells, and then you know, nanoparticles, and but there's more space in matter than there is matter. Like inside of a cell, you know, there's all stuff, you know, electrons and protons flying around, like in gravity, like circling around, like you know, we do around the sun. And there's magnetism, and so when they do, you know, like I used to do on me, I used to scan my brain for epilepsy and stuff. Electromagnetic, it's called electro and sophleogram, I think, or something like that. But as electromagnetic stuff, they can see how the brain fires in you know, one side to another. It's all, you know, we can measure it because we can measure electricity, and we can measure magnetism and stuff like that. So they say where, so you know, when we talk about building blocks, you know, where does it all start and what hangs it all together? Well, you know, that's energy, and that's God, pure and simple. They say it in different ways, like in the Hebrew text, you know, they say that God breathed life into man, and you know, then that's how man became a living being made out of the earth. And well, you don't want to make any, you know, look, man, woman. You know, my point is just simple, and that is we need to stay grounded with Earth because we come from Earth. We need to stay grounded in spirit because we come from spirit, and it's that energy, that inspiration, from our brains to the cells in our body to the very nanoparticles. There's energy that holds everything together, and it's important to stay grounded. And grounded is a step up in your understanding of who you are. My mom was a licensed practical nurse, and I remember her talking about the importance of being grounded. I don't know, working with patients, and I don't know, me as a kid even, and then when I got older, I understood more about grounding. Look, I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to go on this talk. I got right here, I got a Tweeter and the Monkey Man on my phone. But I'm not really sure how to make this here transition and sync it all up to being grounded. I just had sundry thoughts around in my mind, and Ripley came over and when I sneezed and put a string on her paw on my guitar string and busted it, which you've seen. You have to get another one, I guess. I can't practice missing a string, not really effectively. But I guess it just comes down to my appreciation for my dogs, because they're all grounded in a reality that is theirs, and you know, that's actually my point. Being grounded in reality, and the Earth is a reality. If you lose that grounding, you should walk outside barefoot. You should, and there's proof. We're all electromagnetic fields, and we need our feet touching the bare earth to be grounded. You need to work in a garden, and you need to play outside and touch the earth, make forts, and do things. But you know, you can't take your shoes off. So your feet actually touch the ground, because that's where you come from. You know, I said feel sometimes like that I'm bubbles and scum, but out of the bubbles and scum, you know, God always creates something. So that's really the again, I use the word the impetus. Impetus means the driving force, you know, the inspiration that I am working off of today. And because my dogs are grounded, they operate on instinct, and that's their inspiration. You also should stay in touch and get in touch, and always strive to be in touch with what grounds you, and your inspiration, your spirit should ground you. And for your health, you know, you eat plants and vegetables and fruits, and you know, they ground you. Everything comes from the earth, and different color plants do different things for you, and everything is related. I mean, you look at the rainbow in the sky, well, in different colors, that's all coming through the water vapor barrier and the sun coming through, and all the different stuff that comes to us from the sun and goes down into the earth. The plants grow, the photosynthesis, You know, the leaves draw in the oxygen, give off carbon dioxide. They make photosynthesis, and so we are grounded in earth, and we are grounded in spirit. And next time I'll talk about Tweeter and the Monkey Man, because myth also helps us stay grounded. You know, so by myth I mean, you know, everything from true stories to fictional stories to poetry to legend and to history. You know, a person who lived at a high level, well, they'll make a mythology out of them. Anyway, you know, stay grounded, stay strong, paddle hard, harness your inspiration, and keep your both feet on the ground. You know, when you go through life, you know, carry the sword of the spirit with you. I mean, you know, you got your feet planted on the ground. Fortify your mind with your inspiration, and if you come into adversity and you can imagine that adversity, think of how you're going to respond before you actually get put in the position of having to respond. Say you're going to go to school and there's somebody who's going to pick on you, or, you know, something like that. You know, some kind of adversity or something. I don't know. I mean, look, when I was a kid, I had a kid bend my fingers back like that and kept doing it until I would say a cuss word. He wanted to force me. It wasn't really for me. I didn't really, you know, cussing. I kind of felt was taboo. I didn't want to cuss. You know, there's no need for me to cuss. No, somebody forcing me to cuss. Well, that was a new experience, and you know, from that experience, I learned. Actually, became friends with a kid later, as I did a couple of times. Fighting with a person, and then I become their friend. They become friend to me. You know, those lessons in transcendence and rising above the adversity and making it a better reality for myself. Well, you have to learn how to defend yourself, and you know how to stand your ground. And you carry the sword of the spirit. You develop in your mind, well, I'm not going to let this be. You know, sometimes it might be to walk away from the situation. Sometimes it might be to address the situation head on. But your inspiration, your heart, your spirit will tell you if you listen. So, you know, you just absorb what I'm telling you, because I'm telling you what has taken me a lifetime to actually verbalize. Actually put the pieces together and actually say something coherent about it, because after all these years now I come to understand how I could have made my life easier. It all starts at being grounded, because like I said, you know, we come from the earth. More basic thing is, or even our own biology tells us, and the doctors will tell you, put your bare feet on the ground, because the sun and the sky is a positive charge. That's why you see electricity. And the earth is a negative charge. And with me and my son, and I know my daughter's my son Adam, not my son Isaac, but my son Adam, and my daughter's husband Will, your father or your uncle, or your brother-in-law. Well, worked in the cable industry. Look, I'm wearing an actual shirt. Last cable company. Well, no, not the last one I worked for, but I worked for them. And important for everything to be grounded. You have to have stuff that's grounded, otherwise the reception won't be right. And that's a good metaphor. The reception won't be right if you're not grounded. So keep yourself grounded, and then harness the spirit. It lives inside you. I pull it out because it seems like something's outside of us, but it comes from within. And carry on like a real warrior in this life, cutting through the fog and the adversity and the things that are hard to understand. You get through it and keep at it. If all goes wrong and you despair, stand on faith and hang in there. All right.